Our nation's most festive time of the year is underway, and with it, a parade of football's traditional rivalries. For more than 20 years, college fans have feasted on Nebraska and Oklahoma. The Huskers and Sooners were the founding fathers of the modern-day running football attack. The game has featured Heisman winners and legendary runners, and once a year at holiday time, the spirit of those pigskin pilgrims is rekindled. Gary Gibbs has started a new era of Sooner football. He still has the rugged running attack, but all eyes in Oklahoma are on freshman quarterback Cale Gundy. Meanwhile, Nebraska has annihilated all of its opponents except one, and Tom Osborne has the Cornhuskers headed right back to New Year's Day. It's Nebraska and Oklahoma coming up next. It's a CFA Friday, and we welcome you to the harvested plains of Oklahoma. You know, the cold, wintry months are straight ahead. But in the meantime, the kissing cousins of the Big Eight are about to meet right out in the backyard. So pull up a chair and check out this special holiday edition of college football. It's 10th-ranked Nebraska against the Oklahoma Sooners. Turkey and dressing on Thursday. The appetite returns on Friday. They're lined up for hot dogs and hamburgers outside Owen Field here in Norman, Oklahoma. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jim Nance, and all of us at CBS Sports hope you're experiencing a joyous Thanksgiving weekend. Today, you're going to see 10th-ranked Nebraska attempt to win its 10th game of the year. The Huskers have lost only one time this year, and that was to number 1 ranked Colorado. And while Nebraska is going to a New Year's Day bowl game to take on Georgia Tech in the Citrus, Oklahoma is not going bowling. They're 7-3 on the year, and they have an exciting freshman quarterback named Cale Gundy, who today will be out to gun down the mighty Cornhuskers. Part of our caravan on the college football coverage includes our favorite studio duo, and they're riding up right now near game time. Let's take it across the plains and bring in Andrea Joyce and Mike Francesa.
You know, when you come out to a game like this and you talk to fans like Nebraska fans, with Nebraska being 9-1 and ranked 10th, you find a lot of support for a playoff this year.
I think the way things have gone, and they're really not being a clear-cut number 1 team, there is a pronounced cry this year for a playoff. And I think you see in this past week, coaches, prominent coaches like Blue Holes, Hayden Fry saying, hey, maybe we should be able to put something in. Maybe we need a playoff format to settle this thing.
Now, how would you do it, though? Because you'd have to start out slowly. You couldn't start out like the NCAA basketball tournament.
I think what will happen is the bowls will stay intact, and they will put together a ranking system, AP, UPI, maybe some kind of blue ribbon panel to pick the top 4 teams after the bowls are played. So I think we'll start off with a Final 4, and it'll take off from there.
Okay, we've got our tickets for the game. We're actually going to watch one this season in the stands. The only problem is that your seat is on the Nebraska side.
I don't think it matters much. I don't think I have a home side in the Big 8 this year.
All right, we will be back to Norman, Oklahoma after a message and a word from your local station.
9's Bill Higgins, weeknights at 6 and 10.
We're back in Norman, Oklahoma. Come take a ride with us on the Sooner Schooner. Our special schooner cam. And right now, let's take it down to the sidelines and bring in my partner. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Tim Brady.
All right, Jim, it is tradition here at Oklahoma, like it is at so many schools, to honor its seniors on the final home regular season game of the year. Sooner fans are saluting the seniors now, even as we speak. But ironically today, it'll be a young freshman by the name of Cale Gundy, who will have more to say about whether Oklahoma wins or loses than any other player on this field. The coaches here have a lot of trust in this guy. Last year at this time, he was a Parade High School All-American, the most sought-after high school quarterback in the land. As a matter of fact, the coaches have changed the game plan from 3 yards in a cloud of dust to where Cale Gundy will throw now maybe 20 times in a game. If the name Gundy sounds familiar, it is. His brother Mike Gundy, the most prolific passer in the history of Oklahoma State University. As a matter of fact, on this Thanksgiving weekend, young Kale wants to send a message to Mike and thank him for paving the way.
I think I kind of got an early lesson in college football, just being around my older brother Mike and watching a lot of film and hanging around the coaching's office. I want to win the game for a lot of reasons, but one of the many reasons I want to win this game is for my brother. You know, he never had the chance to beat Nebraska. They had 2 or 3 great seasons where they played Nebraska very good, and I kind of want to go out and win this one for my brother.
Mike Gundy is here today, and so is the rest of the Oklahoma Sooner team. Here they come. Oklahoma better be sharp today. They're going against one of the best defenses in the country, certainly one of the quickest. And for more on that, let's take you across the field now. Here's John Dockery. Doc?
And thank you, Tim. Tom Osborne would certainly agree with you. He said that this is one of the fastest and quickest defenses he's seen in Nebraska in some 30 years. But you don't just measure a team by its quickness, by its speed, by its size, by its strength, but rather by its heart and its spirit. And in Nebraska, that's epitomized by their defensive tackle, Kenny Walker, who has overcome his deafness, who has learned how to sign, who has learned how to communicate with his teammates without his ears to become an all-star performer. Certainly an inspiration to his team and to his fans in Lincoln, who gave him a standing ovation with a silent clap. Kenny Walker acknowledged by signing "I love you." And now Walker, on this Thanksgiving Day, through his interpreter, Mimi Mann, tells us what he has to be thankful for.
I'm thankful that I could come to Nebraska with a good program. I'm thankful for Coach Osborne, for Mimi Mann, because they offered me interpreters. I need to learn in college, and I'm thankful for what I've learned. I'm reminded from Coach Osborne, the first time when he recruited me, he offered me an interpreter. And here's the lady sitting in front of me, Mimi Mann. I'm thankful for coming to Nebraska.
So much warmth, so much to be thankful for from a man who some would say has less. And Jim Nance, if the measure of a man has something to do with the obstacles he's overcome, then Kenny Walker is indeed a very large man and an excellent football player.
He's a giant. Tom Osborne leading out the Huskers, ranked 10th in America. Of the Big Reds, one of college football's classic rivalries, Oklahoma and Nebraska, coming up next on CBS.
CBS Sports presents college football, live from Owen Field in Norman, Oklahoma. It's the Nebraska Cornhuskers versus the Oklahoma Sooners. Today
For Oklahoma and Nebraska, there's a lot of vitality in these clear skies as the folks at Owen Field get ready for Oklahoma to kick away to Nebraska. The Sooners won the toss and deferred, so we'll see the Huskers on offense right away. Tyrone Hughes to the near side. Nate Turner flank alongside of him. Oklahoma 7-3 on the year. The Sooners feel they were just 2 missed field goals away from having an identical 9-1 record with Nebraska coming into this contest.
Jim, you talk about how this game is not for the title of the conference, and yet down on the field it is electric.
Brad Riddell gets us started. Hughes on one bounce will down it in the end zone. It's a touchback, and Mickey Joseph will lead out the